European monarchs to die in battle. This is interesting. Richard III, 1485, was our last monarch to die in battle. King of Sweden, Charles VII, 1718. Have we got anyone later than 1718? It doesn't look like it. No, I don't think so. I didn't realise how hands-off monarchs have been for hundreds and hundreds of years at this point. Oh, Russia, density visualized. So the red area is where absolutely nobody lives. Parts of Russia with no people living in them. So obviously because of the way the map's projected, this area does look a bit bigger than it actually is. But it's still a huge amount of space where there's just nothing going on. Russia, school uniforms around the world. So the yellow is where you have school uniforms for the majority of the schools, and then the blue is where it's not common to have school uniform. I did not realise that in Europe the UK is actually a minority and most countries don't have a school uniform. I expected it in the US obviously because I've watched many an early 2000s high school US chick flick. I never knew that the Taliban and Saudi Arabia flag have the same text. Not often the word satisfying is linked to the word Taliban, but that is actually quite interesting. I didn't realise the Taliban flag and the Saudi Arabia flag are actually the same text. Government requests to remove content. That's an interesting one. So the government has contacted Google 4,387 times, asking them to, hide search results, I suppose. Common causes, copyright and national security. 4,000 is barely anything compared to Russia's 123,000. It feels a bit dodgy when it's really, really high. Iceland, on the other hand, only got 4 things to hide. Countries in Europe where escaping from prison is not a crime. What? Attempting to escape from prison is legal in Germany. Attempting to escape from prison is not punishable in Germany as the law considers freedom to be a basic human instinct. But they're not saying that if you get out, it's just go on then, have fun. Countries in where palm trees are found in the United States. That's very interesting, isn't it? That you've got this anomaly over in California. Florida really does its own thing, doesn't it? Isn't Florida the only place in the world that has alligators and crocodiles? Where palm trees beavers in Europe. 1900s, there were very few beavers in Europe. Whereas in 2021, you can't move for beavers. Beavers all over the place. There's too many beavers, to be honest. Someone needs to clamp down on all the beavers. The world according to Google Street View. I need to remember how many countries are not actually on Google Street View because it would significantly help me when I'm playing GeoGuessr. You can see the Empire of Japan at its territorial height, 1943. That is crazy. I literally know nothing about the Japanese Empire. But with the date, obviously it must be related to World War II. But apparently they had control of both Koreas, of vast amounts of China, so much of Indonesia, Myanmar, Cambodia. That's absolutely mad. More airplane designs based on flags. Oh, it's the little wings at the back of the plane. That looks epic, you know. Oh, look at the Bhutan one. Look at the Albania one. That looks so badass. Oh, the Seychelles, the Kazakhstan. Yeah, these all look absolutely epic on a plane. Oh, and then they've gone laser kiwi for New Zealand. Only possible option. Very nice. More if America borders were drawn by language, so everyone speaks English up in most of North America, apart from a little bit of French over in this area of Canada. Then we've got a lot of Spanish, we've got Portuguese in Brazil, and even a teeny tiny bit of Dutch as well. If America very similar territories in their shape. So they're saying the country Tanzania is very similar shape to the US state Wisconsin. Next we've got the Democratic Republic of Congo and then the Est Laundry Parish, which is in Louisiana. They've both got their little panhandle things. Austria and Carvan Island, very, very similar there, fair enough. Iran and Yugoslavia, I definitely can see it. Parana State, Brazil and Romania. Sweden and, Chhattisgarh in India. And then finally Greenland, and then Krasnojarsk. Very Global Hunger Index 1992 to 2018. Okay, hopefully we've got a big improvement. Yeah, there's an improvement. Does seem like things have gotten a lot better in Eurasia, but this world map is very much just the stereotypical colour layout of most global world maps that we see. Male circumcision instead. A lot of people still getting circumcised in Africa and in the US as well. Bloody hell, it's like 80%. Well, fair enough. Male. The countries with the most islands. Sweden has 221,000 islands. When you go ahead and zoom in on Sweden's coast, a lot of islands keep popping up over and over again. Like, you know, there's 3 right there. You can understand why there's 200,000. It surprises me the United Kingdom has 6,000 though. That's absolutely mad. The countries Only 5% of the entire world's population live in the blue shaded regions. For comparison, another 5% lives in the red shaded area. Whoa. Yeah, so people think that we're going to run out of space for humans, but basically most of our space is not being used for humans to live in. So much of our land is just like used for agriculture, so we're not going to run out of space anytime soon, but this is just insane. So that's not even India or China, I think that's like Bangladesh, isn't it? Only the entirety of continental South America lies east of Michigan. Right, so they're saying all of South America is more east than this line, which is mental, because I think if I was to draw North and South America, I'd put them directly on top of each other, but South America's way over here. Did you think it was directly underneath? Please let me know, maybe I'm just stupid. The entirety of most popular dogs by state. Oh my god, it's Labrador in every single state. Is that right? Oh no, Beagle down there in Kentucky. We've also got German Shepherd down in Florida. I found that really interesting, especially the fact that Hawaii also follows the Labrador theme. Most popular penis size world. Half of the world lives in the red. That is absolutely crazy. So the Indian plus Chinese population is equal to the population of the rest of the world. 2 countries out of like 200. What's the third most populated country? Is it America? It is United States, 4% of the world. And then Indonesia is number 4, which you do not think of. Half of the true size of Africa. So quite interesting to see Africa's height and Russia's width are roughly the same. Entirety of the USA comfortably fits inside of Africa. All of China fits with like 2/3 to spare. Brazil squeezes in easily. All of Europe is also in and you don't even have to move Iceland. And India nestles nicely on the Horn of Africa. Africa is bloody huge. The proposed flag of Belgium, of course it's from 2008. No way is this legit. That looks awful. I hate it so much. Don't like that. Keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Countries in Europe with official exorcists. What? Okay. Oh my god, I could book an exorcist if I wanted to. Maybe I'll just do it and like point them towards Becky and see what happens. Percentages of people that believe in God. It is down to 12% in UK now. Whoa, the numbers are so low everywhere. 14%, 19%, 10% in Germany. And then we don't have data for everywhere, but more traditional Balkan areas. That's roughly the only place in Europe where it's still quite religious. Bosnia and Herzegovina being highest at 66%. Percentage of Europeans who would fight for their country. So in the UK, only 21 to 40% of people would be willing to fight for their country. Do you know what? I'd be in the 15 to 20%. You think I'm fighting somewhere on behalf of Boris Johnson? I don't think so. Percentage national flags with highest percentage of each colour. Okay, so the most red flag is the China flag, 97%, that makes sense. Orange, not a particularly popular colour in flags, so Bhutan with 39% wins. Then we've got yellow Brunei, green Saudi Arabia, and then blue Micronesia. Purple, 0.3% because the little teeny weeny purple parrot. White Cyprus, black Libya, brown, 6%. There's a bit of pink in Spain. Is that the most pink flag? 0.1%. Europeans who can read and write at least one foreign language. Right, I mean, this looks pretty bad for the UK, but there's some logic behind it, because I'm assuming that basically the second language that all of these countries know will be English, but this kind of thing does annoy me a bit as, like, an English person, because I feel like there's definitely a stereotype that we're all, like, self-entitled, annoying tourists. Europeans who... The most popular passwords in Europe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is basically it. That's amazing. And then QWERTY is most popular in Ukraine. I wonder why that is. That's interesting. And then you got Denmark missing off the 6, just being ever so slightly less secure. Flags of the British Isles in the style of Canada. So for England, it's been replaced with the Tudor rose. Scotland, the thistle. Wales have got a daffodil. That's nice. Ireland have a shamrock. Isle of Man, cushag. I've never heard of a cushag. And then Cornwall have got gorse. Why did Cornwall get their own flag? Cornwall's in England. Don't be confused, a true nightmare to memorise. Yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous, isn't it? So a lot of these are like town flags and stuff, but look, we've got Indonesia and Monaco, which are basically the exact same thing from this distance. Poland's the same, but flipped. They're bloody ridiculous. At least do what Singapore did and like shove a little bit of extra in there. From which country popes came from? Now we'll get into the real questions. UK, 1 pope. Netherlands, 1 pope. 6 popes from Germany, 1 pope from Poland. 16 France, 2 for Spain, 2 for Portugal. Who's this squeezing in? Is that Morocco down the bottom? And then a huge jump for Italy, 217. From which country? Percentage of European population who believe in life after death. 41% in the UK, 40% in France, 38%. It seems about 40% almost everywhere. But then you can see a huge jump in Turkey, which I suppose is because of a high Islamic population. 91% is pretty wild. Street view coverage in Europe. Germany got something to hide. What's going on there, Germany? We all expected it from Belarus, but Germany, come on now. I'm going to Germany and looking for something suspicious. Whoa, look at that. Here we go. Let's go on this photosphere. Whoa, this was taken by a very short person. Countries visited by Hitler. That is something that you just never think about. Hitler's never been to the UK, he's never been to Spain, he's never been to Portugal. Can't really imagine him sat on his little sunbed, can you? He has been to a lot of Europe though. Hitler's been to a lot more of Europe than I have. Countries visited. The usual time of eating dinner in Europe. So apparently UK and Ireland average tea time is between 6:30 and 7:30 PM, which I guess I would agree with. Maybe extend it to 8 PM. And then it looks like overall the more south you go, the later people have their tea. 9:30 to 10:30 for Portugal and Spain. Very interesting. The percentage of Europeans that think their country has benefited from being in the EU. Okay, so 71% of Sweden think, yeah, I like being in the EU, it's nice. 72% of Finland, we've got 84% of Poland, 81% of Spain, 88% of Portugal. Oh, bloody hell, 95% of Ireland think it was beneficial to be in the EU. I see what you're doing there. Percentage of